From the BTL Global Headquarters in New York, it's BTL Live. YouTube's only live streaming podcast discussing the soccer card hobby. Join the interactive program as we discuss the state of the soccer card market, individual player trends, recent sales, and more. Get your questions ready as BTL and his guests discuss the hottest topics and industry trends and keep you up to speed with all that's happening in the soccer card community. Don't forget to join their Discord server at bit.ly/BTL Discord. And now your host, Breaking the Law.
What's going on, everybody? We are here. Dynasty release day. Let's bring in... What did I do wrong? Guest is in the green room. Stand by. The guest is in the green room. Add guest. First time, long time. Promise I know what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Duh. There he is.
Hey, thanks for the delay and incompetency. It allowed me to get this IG story out. All right. Welcome to Dynasty release day.
All right, you told us you have a special promo. Let's do it.
It's 5 o'clock in the UK on Dynasty release day. Bottoms up to
Come this way a little.
British friends.
There he is.
It's 9 a.m. in the morning here. Who cares? All right. I like that you're wearing your buy low, sell lower. I'm actually wearing soccer cards. Soccer cards are fun. Well, you can't really see it because you know what? Soccer cards are fun, right? Let's bring the energy today. Let's talk about Dynasty. Let me get kind of in the middle of the thing here. Usually these discussions, sorry.
Come more.
They go off the rails because I yell at the, Topps and Panini for overproduction.
Flailing your arms, you hit it. Yeah.
Flailing my arms, greed. Today will not be about that. Today, I am going to commend Topps for being completely fair with this pricing. I'm going to say that they did a good job as far as that. Now it's the resellers and the breakers that are the problem, or the potential problem. They're only a problem if we let them be a problem. Don't reward them. This is not a $2,000 a box product. It's certainly not a $14,000 a case product. Anybody selling this for $14,000 better get on the phone with Marone because they should be in jail.
Not that kind of lawyer, just for the record. Not that kind of lawyer.
Just for the record, he's not that kind of lawyer, but had to use it. All right, let's go.
All right, so let's set the stage here. Here's what we're talking about. For those of you who don't know, Topps Dynasty 2022-2023. That's important. We're going to talk about that. It is a one encased autograph or patch autograph per box, right? So I saw a lot of people joining streams today, surprised that there was only one card per box. So this is one card per box, numbered to 10 or less. All autographs are 100% on card. All relics are 100% match worn. We're going to talk about all this. Look for unique inscriptions on some one-of-one cards, dual autos, Starball patch autos. It's a high-end product. There's 5 boxes per case, which means a full case will only have 5 cards. Some boxes will contain mystery redemptions. That's the lay of the land. So where do you want to begin talking about the product itself?
The product itself is a good product. Topps has never put out anything this good. as I mentioned in the review, they sorry man, this camera.
Yeah, come more to the middle. Move the thing.
Yeah, I know. It seems like it should be that easy, but like Jesus Christ. This is like
I'm gonna send my professional setup out west.
I like you're to the left and I'm to the right, and it's just anyway. I'm trying not to get my pitching too much. Where's the damn? All right, whatever. Sorry about this, guys. Anyway, it's very hard for Topps to make this product, and they make less on this than they do on Chrome. Like by multiples, they make less on this than they do by Chrome. And with Chrome, all they have to do is just print, slap some sticker autos on. This they have to go and do work. So thank you, Topps, for giving us this product.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize the labor-intensive portion of a product like this.
Yeah. So that said, it's good. Execution was not perfect.
Right.
You know, this is the first. Pretty sure this is the first Dynasty product ever where every card is not a patch auto.
Patch auto. I think that's right.
Yeah, I've never seen it in any sport. So I don't know if they were just like at the end, if they were just like, oh, we just need to make more of this because they saw the excitement and they knew they could just print money essentially, you know, because the cost of doing a non-patch match worn patch cards obviously like way less. They did it. It's so, you know, in that regard, it's kind of more Renaissance than it is Dynasty. But of course, they were never going to call it Renaissance.
Couldn't call it Renaissance. Renaissance was an MLS product that was essentially panned by MLS collectors because it was a little bit of a, I don't even know, snake oil product with not full disclosure on multiple one-of-ones in the checklist.
Yeah, it's very cheap. So they call it Dynasty. Dynasty is their top of the line in other sports. Dynasty F1 was the first one, especially, was a huge success. So this is Dynasty. I don't I really like the product, so I don't want to be negative on it, right? I'm glad they did
let's
it.
start with the positive. Let's start positive. You got a ton of legends in this product, so you're not, you know, a lot of these players are established in their legacy. You're not. It's not as risky as throwing a bunch of 22, 23 rookies in, like you said in the checklist. Could be, you know, take some major dips if these guys don't pan out, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, the one of the biggest problems with this set is that it's 2 years late.
Yeah,
right. Like we've known
late.
about it for 2 years late, 2 seasons late. Topps basically dropped their 3 best products in a week.
Bang, bang, bang.
But like literally in a week, which is a strange decision. I think if you were in the room or you gave them True Serum, then this is probably wrong, but whatever. I really think that they're like, oh, we'll just drop this like going into the season when there's hype, but it's a season or 2 behind.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what they do with baseball, right? They come out with Series 1 that, you know, the week before they drop products at, you know, at the beginning of baseball when everything's hype and everything. But in baseball, it's the season that's starting. With this, it's a season behind or
full
2 seasons ago.
2 seasons, yeah.
2 seasons ago, right? So,
and probably not. To me, that's not as big. It's a problem. The timeline on releases is whack for everything now. Because it's so legend focused, I don't know that that's as big a deal. Like, there's no rookies in this anyway, so you get no Garnacho RPA, no RPA of any kind, right? So, to me, I didn't see that as big a deal. I have problems with, one of my biggest problems is why was there this kind of delay and then the 2 biggest names are both redemptions or mysteries. One's a part. You know, it looks like the Messi or a series of some of the Messi autos are just a a true redemption with his name on them. And then we have these mystery redemptions, which we think may be Cristiano Ronaldo, but we're not. That's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed. Yeah, the rumor was that the product was delayed because they couldn't chase Cristiano down. Then he doesn't show up on the checklist, but a mystery redemption does. And then the Messi redemption. So, like, I wrote my review. If you read the review, I have obviously gone and updated it. I didn't see a Messi redemption comment. Like, there was no reason. Like, they've had this guy signing everything. So either they had trouble sourcing a jersey, which makes zero sense because they have the 1-on-1. You know, they have the 1-on-1s with the jersey. So why would that be the case? Or the Messi redemptions were just like a last minute, like, oh, well, we want to charge a little bit more and we need to add some value, which if they did that, great. We can talk about their mystery redemption too. They clearly have some bad names in this checklist. Well, not bad, but you know what I'm saying? Like
less than stellar for the cost.
Yeah. Less desirable names in this checklist because the checklist was made over 2 years ago. But hey, they recognized it and they're giving us this mystery redemption, which like I think is Cristiano. The question now becomes, are the mystery redemptions, because they all had a letter or whatever, are they all 1-of-1s? Or do they have like a full run as well? And that matters because when I first thought about the player spots with the mystery redemptions attached, I was like, oh, that could be like a good hack, you know, if you get into these breaks early.
Yeah.
People don't really think about it. You know, those guys could be priced at.
I'm just buying Mason Mount everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Mason Mount, like Fati, which I would have gladly bought Fati with any upside because I'd buy Fati anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, if there's only those guys are going to have a huge run of cards, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, maybe like 100 or so. And so if it's like 1 out of 100 of them gets this mystery redemption, that's like, But if like 16 out of 100, that's like, you know, way better. And I'm just using 100, like it obviously varies per player or whatever.
And Topps won't, unlike Panini, Topps will not tell us how many autos there are of each player. Like you won't. It's taken some guesswork by you to kind of estimate the print run, right? Because you don't see, you know, like Mason Mount has 17. You know, they don't tell you that.
Yeah. Like I like Topps. Topps gives odds on most every product. I commend them for that. But Panini does a really good job with their high end stuff of literally telling you every card that's in the set, which makes it like way easier. For the review, I had to do a little assuming, you know, kind of based on context clues and the odds. And since nobody broke this early, which was like crazy,
miracle.
Yeah, miracle.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to, you know, like I said, I thought there was going to be less Messi cards than there are. I never imagined a redemption. They were just showing us 1-of-1s. The odds show that like not every single card in this checklist has a 10 and a 5 and a 1. And so, you know, I was just like, in most cases, Messi's the one that gets the least amount of cards. Now that seems to have changed with this like move to Miami or whatever. But getting all back, like, why is Messi a redemption? If they have the jersey, they have access to Messi, clearly. Like, why? You know, it had to be a later decision. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. But whatever. It happened, and it makes the product better. Messi PSG autos, part of me thinks that this delay helped this product because I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about licensing. I would love to just sit down with a licensing person. I could probably sit with them all day asking them questions about why stuff is allowed or whatever. But the Messi Barca stuff started getting previewed much later in the process than the original stuff, which was PSG. Obviously, this is a 22-23 product, so it was on PSG. I wonder if this delay in him leaving PSG kind of helped them in the fact of, able to get Barca cards in. The Barca cards are going to be like way more desirable than the PSG cards. I mean, the market has told us that.
Yeah, that's true. Even though the PSG is what you call the playing day card, which may, eventually play in for some collectors. I think in the Messi space, it probably is not as big a factor. For some others, it may. Like a Haaland, I think potentially to some Haaland collectors, that may be more of an issue. The City cards being slightly more valuable than the Salzburg, even though the Salzburg
I just want to touch
phenomenal.
on playing day.
Yeah.
I want to touch on playing day real quick because I don't think a lot of soccer collectors consider it or with a 101. Okay. I was just reading the question.
Yeah. So. And keep the questions coming in. We're going to have a Q&A session at the end.
Yeah. So playing day matters because at the end of the day, cards are about rarity, right? And there's a reason rookie cards are what they are, because we know how many rookie cards there are after the first year in most cases.
Yeah, right.
And everybody has it's an established idea to go back and collect the rookie cards, that they're the most desirable. Although I have, been talking with some Europeans, and they're like, we don't care about rookie cards. We're so loyal to our club that we'd rather have the player in the club, not necessarily his rookie, which is something that doesn't play out.
Very anti-American.
Yeah, and look,
in terms of the way we collect here. Yeah.
Yeah, it only matters in that, like I said, it comes down to supply and demand, right? So as I pointed out in the article, if Topps were to make Dynasty for the next 50 years, right, they'd probably find a way to get a Messi Barca card in there, right? And so you have no idea what the supply is going to be. You have, and so if with playing days, you know when the supply ends, right? You know when the player stops playing. You know how many cards he has. With non-playing days, they could print the cards to infinity. So, and if nobody cares about playing days, then the demand side just gets huge, right? It can be as big as they want it to be. And so to keep up, the supply has to keep up. So you're banking on everything growing, but there's two unknown variables there, right? If it's playing day, the supply, and you just hope the demand either stays where it is or goes higher. So
playing day is a super niche thing, in my opinion, because you're only going to be worried about that on higher end cards where you're debating between like what should I go after relative. Like I'm not worried about playing day cards when I'm buying like the Chrome Legendary variations, right? Right. You know what I mean? Like it's a cool thing, and those things are more liquid and they're moving more quickly. We're focusing on that here in this product because this is a high-end product where people may hold the cards longer. You think of like Flawless or Eminence. This is going to be a thing that's around in this hobby for a long time, and the singles are going to matter, we think, in a big way, although maybe not so much relative to original box price, but we want to talk about price. Let's move into that discussion because I feel like that is where you're going to get a little hot under the collar. So release price, Topps this morning, Topps UK was what, £1,100? Like 1,400.
Yeah, it was like 14
US.
Something with the conversion. UK, I think the euros was like 1,300, which I think comes to about 1,400, and then
$12.99 US.
And Topps was $11.99.
$11.99 US, and then
so 1,200. Yeah,
it was what, $59.99 for a case. No one was able to get those. I mean, from what I've seen on Instagram and Twitter, it's just like no one I know was able to get like one guy I saw got a bot. So like the bots were on it, which you kind of knew.
Yeah, I mean, I told you that. Like the reason I knew that it was going to be 1,200 is because my mentions started getting hit up by people that aren't that. If you went to their timelines, you could tell that they weren't like really soccer collectors.
They're not
botters.
hobby. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're just
they were bots, and so they knew the price because they were already in the back end, and so which also makes it kind of weird why Topps didn't give us a price. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Didn't give us a price. Didn't release it as an EQL release either, which also seems stupid. But here we are.
Yeah, whatever. The botters win this time. A lot of people complain about equal, especially those people that don't hit equal. But like, this is why equal exists.
This should have been equal. Yeah.
This definitely should have been equal. But whatever. That happened. That's over with. Now we're on to
resell.
Now we're on to resell. And
do resell first. Do resell first. Let's talk about resell, and then we'll do breaks separate.
Yeah, resale. I mean, I think 1,200 was a fair value. I'm not saying it was like, look, at $6,000 case, you're gonna lose way more than you win. But that's just cards in general, right? From the standpoint of like, was $6,000 reasonable enough as a percentage of like, I consider if a case is worth 50% average ROI, then then it's priced fairly. That means you still lose 50%, which on $6,000 is a lot of money. But I don't know exactly what the Messi thing kind of throws me for a loop of exactly how many Messi cards are to kind of like get that average. But let's just call 6,000 fair. It's not like a screaming buy. 10,000, 12,000. 14,000 is crazy. And like I point out in the review, that's what I refer to as the imminence problem.
Yeah.
So imminence came out at, I think it was like $9,000 to $10,000. I forget the exact number, and 9,000 to 10,000 was like, okay, like that's quote unquote fair, right? You're still going to lose thousands of dollars, but it's fair, right? There was only, I think, 900 or 1,000 cases. I forget how many, whatever. It clearly went to a concentrated amount of people, and those people just immediately hiked the price up. Now cases are double that or whatever it is, to the point where to get your money back by breaking a case is basically hit Messi or lose. There was like I pointed out, there was a case break the other day. They hit Ronaldo, they hit Pele, and they hit everything else. And even with Ronaldo and Pele and the other 8 cards, it's not even close to getting what a case is worth now.
Yeah, so you're not buying this to rip. Like, you should not be, I don't think, buying this thing and ripping it for yourself. Like, that just seems insane. Unless you're just like, money doesn't matter to you. Like, fine.
Yeah, if money doesn't matter, it is what it is. But like, if you are buying this at a retail price, let's just say you're buying it at $10,000, right? You're going to get crushed if you ever open it. So basically, you're buying it in hopes that Topps never makes Dynasty again, and then the price of the case itself is going to go up similar to as it has done with those other products. Making the money back on opening it is, this, we got to get to a way different place in the hobby. Like, if we go back to boom times, 10,000 would look like a bargain. But we're sitting here today.
In other sports, a product like this at 10K is better. The soccer market, the high-end singles in the soccer market, if you look at flawless prices or you look at eminence prices, it just doesn't justify it. JP, I don't think increasing to 9,000 to 15,000 for resale is fair. That's not what we're saying. No.
That's the opposite of what we're saying.
The opposite of what we're saying. Yeah. Quite literally. So let's talk about then breaks, because we've seen this be kind of all over the place. Not a ton of supply on the breakers that we would normally see inundated with product, right? Soccer breakers, GG, or Pale Vita. Not getting very many cases. Slab Stocks had 3. And you kind of seen it all over. A lot of people doing random player. Some people do 499 spot random.
Dude, I was sent from the UK, a guy priced out every single mystery random spot, A through
separately
K or whatever it was. Separately. Created, I forget how many. Well, let's call it 13 spots. 13 different mystery randoms, and they were like 50, I think 45 or 50 pounds each.
What?
Like, yeah.
That's nuts.
Like it.
Yeah.
Like these people took. I mean, I'm not big enough to cause anything in this hobby, but like, I think the Ronaldo theory was already out there. Although I was the first person I think to actually say it out loud. But yeah, now they're like this mystery random spot is just considered so huge, and without knowing if they're one of ones, or if there's 13, or if there's 130 of them, that's like a ballsy spot to be paying, $600-$700 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I've seen it. With the move that you and I said, I think if you can find people, and it's probably at this point going to be that the breaker is not very savvy on how they're doing it, but like those spots that have the mystery card attached to them, if you can get it for 50, 60, 70 bucks because the players aren't very good, it's probably a worthwhile risk. Just buying, what would that even be? Like a serial, like you're buying that exact mystery redemption with that letter attached to it, just seems stupid. So it's been all over the place from a breaker's perspective. I don't get too worked up about it. I mean, I'm not breaking any of this, but I've been in a few breaks, different formats. I think if you're joining like like we're doing a hit draft, you have to be in a position where a couple $1,000s is not going to make a big difference to you. Like you would be stupid. Like if spending $2,000 and getting nothing is going to hurt you in your life, you would be making a financial mistake to get into this product.
Yeah, like that. I mean, that's what I ended my review with, right? Nobody. I wrote over 2,000 words about this, and at the end, it's not going to matter, because either you're a gambler or you're not a gambler.
A gambling
right?
man.
The people,
Yeah.
the people that read my stuff are either smart enough to not get crushed, or they kind of want to know and feel better about at least knowing, but they're still going to get crushed. It's like when you walk into the casino, the casino has the advantage, but you still do it. But just don't just be responsible. That's all. I'm not going to tell you how you spend your money, but at least just be responsible.
It's crazy
this is
too.
where you can get really hurt.
You can get really hurt, and you see it. Like the soccer community is small, so Bryn points out like you have some folks, breakers that have been around longer, have this breaker loyalty, and they can snap fill at crazy ass prices. Like the difference between soccer breakers and golden goals cases were more than $4,000 the way that they priced it, which is just nuts. And people don't do that math all the time. Like it's easier to do the math when it's a random spot and they tell you how many spots there are and you could just do simple multiplication. But I usually will go through and someone who's PYP or PYT'd and I'm doing the math on how they priced it out. And that is usually where it's more egregious in something like this is the people that have PYP'd it. So you see these spots and none of them are too crazy. But it's like, well, when you do the math, they're clearing, like you pointed out, 15 grand on 3 cases for essentially 10 minutes of ripping is just nuts.
Yeah, I mean I just think it's because they didn't get a lot. That's the best I can.
Yeah, you got to get all your money right away. Yeah,
they didn't. They've waited 2 years for this. They, I think, and then you get like 1, 2, up to 5 cases, and you're maybe mentally already spending that money and, thinking maybe you're going to get more or maybe you deserve more or whatever it is. the people that we know paid what, $1,300 a box, right? Which was actually more than retail.
More than the public release, yeah. Which no
More
one
than
got
the public
anyway, so
release.
it didn't really matter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It ended up not mattering. I thought that was kind of funny. So yeah, it's likely your favorite breaker paid $6,500 for a case,
Yeah.
or or around there. Let's call it, right. So the easiest product in the world to break is going to be this product.
Yeah.
As far as like labor intensive,
Yeah,
it's,
right.
it's
There's
5
no
cards
sort.
for,
Yeah.
there's no sort. There's no so, like you said, like unless you broke it into 499 spots, which you had to enter into your sales system or whatever, it shouldn't take that long. 30 minutes tops. So, pricing it at $12,000, $13,000, making $6,500 for 30 minutes of work is not bad.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not
Especially,
bad.
And to me, like I do some breaks, but I don't get allocation. I'm a very, pick my spot kind of guy. I'm not losing sleep over the breakers getting a win here because I know what it's been like with some products where, especially Chrome, where they jam it down their throat, and then you see Chrome Hobby not being very good and them struggling to fill and taking loss, so like it evens out in the wash. Like no soccer breaker is retiring off of this break. No one got enough of it to make a difference. Like,
no, I get that. My whole thing is like, I understand the business side of it, right? Nobody forces anybody to become a soccer breaker to make money. It shouldn't matter what you paid. Like, just shop around, right? I guess at the end of
shop
the day.
around, find something you like, find the people you like, and we're going to talk in a second about comparing this. Like you said, Topps dropped 3 releases at once. Vita said, I already shipped mine and we don't even break until 7:00 Central. So I think, shop, like everything else, you see people don't really shop around, but you should, if you're going to enter breaks for this, you should really try to shop around. I do think the price is going to get jacked on the resale market, which is brutal. Let's talk about.
Let's before we jump anywhere else, let's talk about the other elephant in the room, the CT scanning problem.
Oh no! Oh no!
I mean, you have to bring it up.
Here
right?
we go.
I look. You have to bring it
Tinfoil
up.
hat time. As if any of these peasants are have enough money to get a CT scanner. No, go ahead.
No. Like you can literally get it done for $75 a box, right? Like that's the ultimate no-brainer for this product.
Yeah, do not buy loose boxes of this, or you have to you just have to assume you're going to lose. Like,
if you're buying a loose box, you buy it today and be like, or not today, but I mean that's the thing. You have to kind of it's bad.
Well, no, if you're going to buy a loose box from someone that won the got it from Topps, I think that's okay as long as they tell them ship it in the box. Like just slap a label over the box from Topps. That would be the
okay.
deal
There you go. Yeah. I mean, even though the CT scanner can see through that, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, look.
I don't know how else you do it.
That's the problem. Like, this is not a live about that, but it has to be said, right?
It's come up in the hobby recently. Vita's wife may or may not be a nurse.
Yeah.
I think I'd imagine that the companies will figure out a way to put some material soon in between it that will hopefully.
But it's not in this. It's not in this product, right?
That's right.
So, if I was a breaker, like it seems like a lot of the breakers are leaning into the joke, kind of like Vita, and I saw Pat, and like a lot of them are leaning in, and I think GD were leaning into like taking it to the CT scan or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think the better route is like, or would have been, is like, these aren't CT scanned. Anything that comes out weeks from now, you just kind of got to assume it was CT scanned, even if it's not, and just go from there.
Yeah,
because it's legit. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm tinfoil hatting it. I think it's legit. Like, because it's just too cheap and there's too many scumbags.
And I guess it also depends on what people are doing. Like, I'm not a person that holds a lot of sealed wax, so I wouldn't be buying it on the secondary market to keep as an investment for later. That's just doesn't spark joy for me. So if you're someone who does that, I think that it would be somewhat foolhardy to buy this on the secondary market and think it's not fucked in some way. But if you're just going to buy it and hold to sell to some flipper 4 years from now so they can rip it at SoCo, and we can all remember the 5th anniversary of SoCo commemorating Topps Dynasty's initial release. You know what I mean? Like they did with Eminence. I mean, it's crazy. You see now years later that stuff doesn't hold. Like you can't, it's very difficult to make your money back from what you've paid. There's still a market for it because breakers will still buy it years from now to do stuff with. The CT scan thing is a thing. Buyer beware.
Buy early or don't buy at all is my opinion of it.
Here we go. Lead blocks X-rays. That's why when you take X-rays, they put lead shells in your private parts. There you go.
I mean, look, the problem is it's expensive, but and let's not. We'll get off. I'm sorry.
I think Breakers got this. Breakers got this stuff. I think on Friday-ish last week, give or take. Thursday, Friday.
I will say it'll be very interesting. Like if all the Messies like come out, like there's 14 101s. Like if we somehow see 12 of them, but we're seeing like way less of like other cards that nobody wants. That'll be very interesting. And
it's weird. It's weird too because like we added up all the breakers that we know, and we know most of them that are here, and if you're right on the math, and there's 1,000 cases ish, I think we have accounted for less than 20 cases to every breaker that we know of in the United States. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, and they're not flying up on Asia. Like when I woke up this morning, like the 4:00 P wake up, the first thing I did was go to Card Hobby, and there was nothing. There was nothing there. What is he talking about?
Yeah, I mean, what was allocated to the breaker.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's look. The breaking part of it is a way that the cards get into circulation, so it's got to happen. Joining a break like this, spending $29 and hitting a lot, you're basically buying a $29 lottery ticket if you're taking a spot in a 500 spot break to get one card. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you're gambling on gambling on gambling. $29 is not going to probably kill anybody, so that is relatively fine. But if you're buying this shit on the secondary market for $10,000 and ripping it for yourself, I think that is stupid.
Yeah, or even if you're buying a spot for $1,000, and
pretty stupid. Yes.
Case. Yeah, I mean, look.
Hi, I'm stupid.
Yeah, the three. From best I can see, and this changes from player to player. Like Messi is going to be different than lower players, right? But I looked at as many PYPs as I could, and it seems like the break even to get like a flawless card of that player, like not a 1-on-1 flawless, but like a regular decent flawless, of which they're all low numbered, is going to be like 3 or 4 cases, roughly, right? So that's like. So if a player's flawless card sells for like 500, it seems like they're roughly going for like 150, 125 per case in this, which is just crazy because the math doesn't math. Like not even close to mathing. The math doesn't math, and it's not even close to mathing, and that's like the problem.
The funny thing here is the math doesn't really the math doesn't really math for anyone. It doesn't math for Topps because this is an expensive product to produce that they can't overprint in a way to create a lot of margin, right?
Right.
It doesn't math for the breakers to get 1 or 2 cases because you're making a big pop, but it's not. It's just all at once, and then you're done.
High percentage, But like you said, it's done.
And then it doesn't math on the. It will be a product where you should for sure buy singles if that's what you're into, and you should for sure. Try to wait and compare it to what Eminence and Flawless cards sell for. But yeah, it is overall, I think, a good thing for the soccer hobby to have a high-end product like this. We need more of it if we want the hobby to continue to expand and to be able to attract the big whales that are going to pay big money for cards. Like, we need more of it. It just needs to be executed better.
Well, let's ask this. Is it better or worse for the soccer card hobby if this never gets made again?
Oh, I would say worse.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him come back with it improved. Learn the lessons, make it way better. Like they've done. Topps has shown that they can do that with some. Like they've made substantial improvements. Like I think we're going to talk about Sapphire, Inception. Like these products a lot of them have gotten better. Some go backwards, like the big ticket, Chrome. Maybe some of the release styles are not as strong as you'd like them to be, but I think Topps has shown a willingness to take some feedback and make some improvements.
I'll say it this way: if they never make it again, it's good for everybody that's like in the hobby right now that can participate. Much like Flawless was good for everybody
People who are
back
around.
then that could participate. It's probably better to have more of this stuff in circulation because then the prices come down and more people can get in their hands, yada, yada, yada. Like we've seen it play out with F1, right? The first F1 has been a wild success. Everyone past that, I'm not like an expert on the F1 market, but tangentially, I think the next few years have just not been good.
Fizzled, yeah.
Right?
Much smaller, more niche collector base than soccer, though, too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like I'm kind of torn on is it better or worse? Yeah, if it gets done again or if it doesn't. Yeah.
All right, let's do a little. We could do. You want to do questions or do you want to do the comparison with the other sets? Because I've got this fun little.
I mean, if you want to do a couple questions first, we can.
Let's do a couple questions. Do you think that price controls for breaks should be implemented by an entity separate from the hobby? I say no. Next question. I don't want government regulation in my cards. I don't want it.
So we've talked about this. I think breakers have been, because of the whatnots and the Fanatics lives, I think breakers have been commoditized. And so I think that Fanatics has the control to basically make make the ones succeed that they want to succeed. So that's probably going to be like all that happens, but is regulation needed? I don't think regulation would be bad. I know you don't like it. I think that, and I kind of think that Fanatics wouldn't mind it either, because I think it would look similar to a sportsbook license, and Fanatics is going to have all those. And so then they can bring in all of their breakers in-house and basically maybe even make them hourly or something like that. And
now that I could see happening. A long ways away. I do think regulation helps, not in the way people would think or want. Like
yeah, I mean
how often in life have our government regulations of something like this helping the little guy? Like
yeah, like it's
not going to go the way you think. Like
I think Fanatics wants it because Fanatics could just squeeze everybody.
It paves the way for them to the true monopoly that they want. Are the grumbles about pricing more to do with the state of the market than the positivity around F1, which was peak COVID? Yeah, I mean, F1 was like dropped at the absolute peak in 2021, right? Like that was just
I mean the grumbles around pricing is that, like, if for the math to work, this has got to be a better product or a more valued product than Flawless, like to a substantial degree. And in my opinion, like, that's just, as of today, us sitting here, I don't see that being the case. That there's too many unknowns around this product.
I don't buy a lot of Eminence just because I'm not a fan of the way that the cards look. But if you look at, like, I know our friend A. Dot has been just cannibalizing Pulisic Eminence autos, all in the $200 to $400 range, just like consistently $200 to $400. And like, for one of the most collectible players in the hobby, in the States at least, like, that is a problem for a product like this, because then, Like the singles sell, the price of the singles doesn't merit the price of the wax. It's this thing we've been debating now for 2 years, essentially. Like, there are not enough people in the hobby like there are in other places for it to kind of make sense. You know, it just doesn't. Singles don't sell for high enough to merit the initial price of the wax.
Yeah, and that's the pricing problem, right?
Yeah.
So I have a theory, and there's just too many unknowns, but I think that the first time a lot of these cards sell is going to be the highest they ever sell for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless they never make
a lot of them, yeah. A lot of them, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unless they never make them again.
There's some real bombs on the checklist here, so yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, because we know that there's a lot of there's a lot of the checklist, right? So it's like the singles prices are going to likely in the near term, or the near term, I won't even say the near term, like, are going to go down, and the wax price is going to go up. And we don't see that with a lot of products except for the super, super limited ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, unless if there's a mystery redemption rookie, there's no rookie, right? So there's no, this X player might pull a Lamine Yamal and like go crazy, and then this becomes a better product, right? All these players are like, it's a lot of legends. Yeah. We know what like we can look at the legends market, right? So like, where does the singles price appreciation comes from? The singles price appreciation only comes from lack of supply to meet the demand. So if this ever gets made again, there's automatically going to be more supply, right?
Or the person dying. So it's like if they make it again, or the guy dies, the signer dies. Yeah,
right? So
Maradona, right? Like Maradona.
Figure out who's
Pele.
dying, and there you go.
That's right.
I mean,
that's my whole life.
If you take anything away from this, no. But yeah, that's just a matter of fact. Like there's we don't know how much there is. Like I said, with eminence of like each player. There's a couple of players that I actually target on eminence because I've looked over the checklist so much that I know like the cards that never come up versus the cards that do. With this, we won't really know that until enough of it gets open to see who has the 10s, who has the 5s, and who probably only has the 101s. But for a lot of these players, there's going to be a lot of cards.
All right, let's see. What percentage of the approximately 1,100 cases do you think were allocated for sale on the Topps site? It seems like 90. I mean, it seems like a ton from what we've seen breaker-wise, but it's just a guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. So I actually asked Topps and on a tweet reply, because they replied to, like, someone said, is it going to be for what top sites is it going to be for sale for? And they're like, it's going to be. And I said, well, where was it packaged and manufactured and being distributed from? Because
that matters. Yeah,
that matters a lot. Not to go off on a whole nother tangent here, but Topps Euro products are a problem. They're an issue. I don't care what anybody says. Give me a tinfoil hat. The Topps Europe manufactured and distributed products are a problem. I'm sorry. And that problem is that they clearly know they know what's in the boxes.
Yeah, they're backdooring those to select people that you always see get the hits. Like, it is the conspiracy theory that people believe in the U.S. about backyard breaks, right? Like, it is very much that. You see, like, if you follow, like, I'm not going to name names, but I follow, like, certain breakers in Italy, and then they just always happen to hit the monster products that are manufactured and packaged at the Topps, at the fucking place down the road.
This is a rumor. It's a rumor from someone I trust, but it is a rumor that they literally brag about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think in Europe it's just again, card market not as developed as it is here in the United States. It's newer over there, especially once you leave England, right? Like, you kind of look at outside the UK, it's more of a niche thing relative to stickers, which they've collected for decades. And yeah, I think that definitely happens. All right, so we think a lot of it was maybe on the website, but we're not too sure. No one was able to get it. I was on the website with the right link, from the guy I know who buys, hits on the website, and like I was there at 10:30 Eastern. Add to cart, not even onto the product page. You just hit add to cart. That's the way to do it. Site immediately crashed. And I went to buy a case instead of a loose box, thinking there'd be less people going into that than there would be and crashed either way. So
yeah, they
somebody
allowed
got
10,
it.
Max 10, right?
Yeah, I think it was max 10. I couldn't even get into the other product page because I was just stuck on my wheel of death on the case page.
Yeah,
All right,
usually we can. Okay, so like what I love to do after this is go to eBay and see the accounts that are selling it.
Yeah, you see who got it, right?
So I'm just the first one I look at, Drop Culture -1 with a 25 feedback.
That's
it's
sus.
all
yeah.
that's what it's going to be. It's going to be low feedback accounts, and you're going to be able to clearly tell that they're botters. The bots won. There's no reason. The bots won.
All right, let's do this because I've only got a few minutes left. Let's look at one thing we wanted to talk about was this Inception drop this past week, as did Sapphire. Probably a whole other video on that. We wanted to touch on it a little bit, especially because I think even though Sapphire is priced high, like it looks completely loaded in terms of what you're getting in the cases. Inception, this was pulled by our friend Cult of Wax. Notably, BTL almost bought this Ronaldinho spot, but bought the Vinny spot instead, like an idiot. I think the Ronaldinho spot was the last spot to sell, $140. 1-of-1. This is a 1-of-1 on card Inception versus the 1-of-1 non-patch Drogba from Dynasty. So, what are you buying here? Like, clearly, Inception is the winner.
Yeah, I mean, to me, look, unfortunately, we don't have a Ronaldinho card to like put up next to it. Once I see one, I'm actually going to run this poll. But like for me, this is the ultimate no-brainer. That Inception card looks better than that non-patch.
Not even close.
Those Inception cards look great. It's funny because I ran a poll. I don't know. Let's call it a week ago or whenever Inception dropped. And I ran a poll. I said, what would you rather have, 4 boxes of Inception or 1 box of Dynasty? And the polls were roughly like 2/3 of the people were like Dynasty, and a lot of the comments were like, "Oh, dude, this is a Dynasty no-brainer. Like this should be like 7 or 8 boxes, yada yada yada." And then I ran that poll yesterday after
different
the
result.
information brought, and it was literally exact opposite. It was 2/3 Inception, right? Yeah. So, the mood definitely changed.
Yeah. Shit, I'd rather almost have 2 Sapphire boxes than a box of Dynasty. Like after seeing the breaks last night, multiple to 10s, multiple to 5s in each case. Like it's just the auto changes the dynamic. It obviously raised the price on Sapphire, but. And you're paying a Yamal premium there, but
yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of really good cards and Inception. Like a lot of really cool long-term people are going to want them cards and Inception, which I do think is a bit of a difference than Sapphire, because I think this will be like the Sapphire standard going forward. Like this is the first year of autos. But like right now they're selling well, and Lamin's like hot as hell. So like
it's hot as hell. Yeah, just dominating the product. All right, let's get to some questions real quick, rapid fire. If you had to guess in a year, how many cards from a Dynasty would you guess would cost more than a box? Less than 10%.
Like 5 would be my guess.
All right, let's see what else we got. I get reselling the box to make a profit, but $2,500 to $3,000 after seeing the retail price is kind of wild. Thoughts? Avoid. Don't buy. Did you see the Putellas match-worn patch card that had a piece of the Barcelona third kit that she never wore because she was injured at the time? I did see that.
I did.
We've also got issues in Dynasty as well with this the Holland, because they dropped the date. It's like the more they do, the more it hurts. Like they drop the date that Holland wears the kit, and then someone, was like, here's the link from Golden, and the guy that authenticated it sucks, apparently. Like it's a whole tinfoil hat on that corner of Instagram. Yeah.
It wasn't a certificate of authenticity. It was a letter of opinion. People, it is what it is. Like
not photo matched. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a huge discussion. I am one of the bigger Holland Salzburg truthers / collectors in this hobby, and like that card, it just seems gimmicky to me. I'd rather have the City card from this set because they won the treble and they won the Premier. I mean, and he was the EPL. Very
upset City fan in the comments, by the way, saying why didn't Dynasty do more in this set to celebrate the City treble? And I think a lot of the set may have been actually printed before that happened, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I was talking to people about this set and getting details before in 2022, like that's the thing. It was just so delayed.
Yeah. I think it and Martin made a point earlier in the comments that, we want high-end sets and then we always find a way to grumble. I guess we do these videos as our gut reaction, and it's like I always tell people in my law practice, people don't come to me and talk to me when everything's going great, right? So we are like, if we're not in any way affiliated with Topps or any of these companies that put these products out. So like, we're not paid to do this. So you're going to get, like, we're telling you the good and the bad so that you can try to make some kind of an informed decision, and we just kind of like to banter with each other.
Yeah, look, this is as positive as I've been on 3 Topps ultra modern products and forever, right? So this is not a Topps thing to me. Like, yeah, I think the Salzburg thing's a little gimmicky, but whatever, fine. Like it is what it is. The only thing I didn't like is them like spewing rookie all over the place, trying to get somebody to pay like a ridiculous amount for it, thinking, just because they start describing it as rookie, it is what it is. They can make Holland Salzburg kits from now until the end of time. That was my only problem with that. Like the card exists is fine. Yeah, we're just trying to, all Soccer Cards HQ, the brand is about, and all I created the brand to be about, was to inform people to make better soccer card decisions so that they want to stay in the soccer card hobby, so that the soccer card hobby grows. End of statement, period.
That's it. Yeah.
This is not like, I make less money than the breakers that got 3 cases are making on this thing.
For
right?
Sure.
So like, I'm not doing it for clicks. I'm very successful. I don't need this. I love the hobby. I like helping people. That's why Soccer Cards HQ exists. It's not like because I want to bash Topps, right? Like,
no, we want the hobby to grow in our Soccer Card Discord, which you should join if you're not already in. The link is below. We see people leave all the time, right? So like at least once a month, there's a post. Hey, I got to get out of the hobby because I'm basically out of money. Buy all these cards from me. You see it. So I get to see it a lot, and we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to reduce the amount of times that happens, and having more information and having these conversations the day that the product is out. This is as soon as we could do it because nobody broke it early. So we really didn't get a chance. Checklist only came out Monday. We really didn't get a chance to see any of the product at all, at least for me, until this morning. So kind of hard to do blind. But now so now there's no excuses. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, like I said, Topps did everything reasonable in this. They don't always do reasonable. They did reasonable here. Now it's on you, the collector, to make an informed financial decision based on your level of financial security. I don't want you to get wrecked. I don't want you to quit the hobby. If everybody just spent the money that they spent chasing a Dynasty card on like 2 cards that they wanted, we'd all be better off.
Yeah, the singles is the play. I think here, if you have the money to chase in a break, go for it, but don't spend your last $2,000 joining a break of this product.
Yeah, don't blow your paycheck.
Or buying a box, resell. Even worse, buying a loose box, secondary to rip, I think would be a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you have to get in this, do it at a case break from, like, today or sometime very soon where there was no funny business. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I just know there's a lot of gamblers in this hobby. They're going to do it. So pick that case spot, find the cheapest, place that you can, and hopefully you get that itch out of the way, and then you can go back to being in the hobby, in a more responsible way.
And this is just a blip. Like we got Inception's out, Sapphire's out, we got Merlin, we got Stadium Club, FIFA Select allegedly coming out, push back again to September. But there'll be other more accessible, affordable products, more higher printed, coming shortly. So you don't need to go all out on Dynasty. Also, if you're super into Topps, Tennis Chrome dropped today, and that's fun.
I'm actually going to run the numbers on it just because it's like it doesn't seem awful. It could be awful. Don't take
it's
this
okay.
as like...
It's okay. It's been okay. I've watched a few. I watched Slab Stocks rip yesterday at the Fanatics headquarters. He was at the U.S. Open. Yeah, it's interesting. There's some of those guys have never had autos before, so it'll be and gals. So
yeah, I don't know enough
interesting.
about it. I know it's going to have the huge shape, the Alcaraz chase, even though he already had card, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
But look, 3 autos for 190.
It's not terrible.
I've watched tennis enough to recognize like good names. I looked at the auto list.
They got some good legends. Yeah.
It's
a fun little thing.
It's not
unlike that Olympic set where you get a lot of like the big names were in unlicensed jerseys for some reason, here they don't have that problem because you don't have really uniforms. So none of that.
I did see some
out.
of the cards. Oh, sorry.
They're okay. Yeah.
I saw some of the cards and they were hideous. But that said,
some are okay, some are not. Yeah.
But yeah, it looks. I mean, I'd rather spend $190 on that than $190 on a freaking 1 in 50 chance, 71 chance of
getting just a card.
Of getting a card.
Yeah, not a good card, like anything. Yeah, I agree.
I think there's 71 different spots, 71 different players. I think maybe 72 if you add mystery redemption. And so, like, just think of it that way, even though it's not pure division because some players have more than others, yada, yada, yada. But, just don't get killed, people. That's all. Just don't get killed.
Don't get killed. That's the message. Unfortunately,
fun.
Soccer cards are fun. Keep them fun. Buy low, sell lower. Buy low, sell higher.
That's what's going to happen.
My shirt comes true. Yeah. I'm a truther. Hobby truther. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Give us any feedback you've got. We're going to try to do this again soon. Always fun chatting with Soccer Cards HQ. Make sure you check out his review. It is up for Dynasty. And good luck out there, guys.